Good Easter Sunday morning. On my way to work today. Should be a pretty slow day. The traffic is the lightest I've ever seen outside of a snow day on this road. In fact, this amount of traffic reminds me of the highways back home in northern Vermont and northern New Hampshire growing up, and how light they are, how little traffic they have. So I expect this to be a pretty quiet morning. About half the grocery store chains in this area are actually closed today. But not us. We're open. We actually have to do some, I've talked about it on previous videos, we got some construction going on in our department tonight. So we actually have a huge amount of staff scheduled today in order to get the department ready to go for that construction. We have to remove every piece of equipment, every piece of furniture from the department, and it has to be removed from the department and the floor be completely cleared to get it ready for floor resurfacing. So we've got a lot of extra help on the payroll today so that a bunch of us can be freed up to do just that. So yeah, this is really crazy light traffic. If you take away the trucks that are on this road, there'd be hardly any traffic at all. And here's the thing, this road is the major highway that connects the cities of Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Greensboro, Raleigh, and Durham together. If you're having to go between those cities, you're going to be on this road at some point, which explains why it's 4 lanes in each direction, even though we're technically driving in a fairly rural area. But this road gets a tremendous amount of truck traffic and quite a bit of car traffic normally too. But today, very light. Actually, it's a little heavier than the highways that I remember growing up. But again, we're not in northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire either. We're in between some major cities in North Carolina, one of the biggest, most populous states in the country. And you can see how light the traffic is. So I don't work every Easter. I've had the last few off actually, just because I generally get Sundays off anyway, due to hockey refereeing. But the Easters that I have worked in the past generally are fairly slow to begin with, because a lot of people, well, a very small percentage of customers won't come out on Easter because they want to support retail employees and not give businesses any business on a major religious holiday like Easter. The rest of the public that either don't know or don't care that they're making people work when they go out shopping on Sunday, on Easter Sunday, a lot of those actually don't think that we're open on Easter Sunday. They think that Easter Sunday is the equivalent of Christmas, and we are closed on Christmas, so they think that Easter Sunday we are as well. So that usually cuts into a big chunk of what would normally be a busy Sunday and normal Sundays. So generally Easter Sunday is fairly slow. Throw in a pandemic and throw in the fact that about half of all stores that have been open during the pandemic announced earlier this week that they would be closing completely on Easter Sunday to give their, most of them said it was to give their associates a break and to spend Easter with their families. That should also put a damper on our sales too, because that will make even more people think that we're closed on Sunday. But there's always going to be that portion of the population that can't possibly stay at home, that can't possibly stay shut in for more than a few hours, and they'll be out, they'll be in the store, and some of them, as usual, will be nasty towards us. And we'll have to deal with that. So but other than that, it should be a fairly quiet day today, and with the amount of help that we have today in our department, it should be fairly easy and straightforward day. Shouldn't be a whole lot of drama today. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and end it. We've got a beautiful sunrise happening behind me. And I guess we'll catch you in the afternoon when I get out. Not sure when I'm gonna get out today. I'm technically scheduled 7 to 5, but I've run up a couple of hours of overtime that I have to remove. So I'm going in about 30 minutes late this morning. Not sure how early I'll be able to get out. I guess a lot depends on what we get done. So we'll get in there, hit the ground running. We've got to do about 3 days worth of baking of breads and pies and cookies and stuff, because we won't be able to make any of that stuff for the next couple of days with all the equipment being out. So I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to get out, but whenever it is, I'll turn the camera on, and we'll talk about the day on the way home. So we'll see you then. Now this is more like what I'm used to in Maine and Vermont, or northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and northern Maine for that matter, for interstate highway busyness. Almost completely empty, just a few cars here and there. Wow.
The coalition. We've heard from the mayor of New York, Bill de Blasio, that schools in New York will reopen next academic year. They'll be closed for the rest of this year. Then we heard from Governor Cuomo that...
Wow, it's even quieter on the streets.
Now, these are themes that we've heard before from Pope Francis, but perhaps
practically have this road to myself.
A kind of new impetus now that we are in this global pandemic. Victor, Emma?
Everything in context here. Delia Gallagher for us there in Rome. Thank you so much. Well, the IRS sent out the first wave of the stimulus payments. So how should you spend it? We have some do's and don'ts from a financial expert ahead, starting with those who filed tax returns for 2018 or 2019 and authorized direct deposit. Now, for people who have not filed, it may be a couple of weeks, maybe months before they get any money.
So how much can you expect to get? Well, individuals could receive up to $1,200. Couples get up to $2,400 plus $500 per child.
Oh, wow. I'm whooped. Just got out of work. It's actually 6:45 now, so well over an hour past the time I was supposed to leave. I'm finally getting out. But left them in pretty good shape. There's only a little bit left to do in terms of getting the department emptied. As expected, it was a pretty slow day today. They're expecting some bad weather coming in tonight. As you can see, it's already turned for the worse since this morning. It's currently raining right now, lightly, but they're expecting heavy rain later and thunderstorms and possibly even tornadoes. When I first got on the ground, or when I first got in the car, I turned on the news and they were talking about a very large tornado on the ground down in either Alabama or Mississippi, down that way. And they're saying it was at least an F4, if not F5 tornado. So hopefully everybody gets out of the way of that one. It is that time of year. Springtime is usually the time for tornadoes, so it's not unprecedented to have them this time of year. But anyway, so they're expecting some of that to possibly come up this way late tonight into tomorrow morning. Speaking of tomorrow morning, I've got to get up early and get back in there tomorrow. The department's going to be closed, so I'm not exactly sure, besides doing trucks, what is going to happen tomorrow. The frozen truck that was supposed to arrive this morning just got to the store at 5 o'clock tonight. So that didn't get worked, and I'll be going in tomorrow morning to work that on our side. And the grocery truck that we were supposed to get didn't come in on time either, so that hopefully will come in soon, because right now the back room's a mess with all of our stuff being dumped back there. So yeah, and we're now officially into the period where our department's going to be closed for a couple days, so it should be interesting to see customer reaction tomorrow when they find out they can't get their sliced meat. With that being said, speaking of customers, I heard a story today concerning our customer counts in the store. Of course, our store has a limit on how many customers we can have in the store at any time, and at times they have to stop customers at the door until other customers come out. So yesterday they had one customer who came up and he tried to skip the line, stating that he only needed to go in and get one or two things, or something, or one thing at pharmacy or something like that. He wasn't going to be in there long. And the girl who was manning the door, who happens to be in our department, said, no, you need to go to the back of the line. There's a customer limit and we have to keep to that limit. And he got all upset and was throwing a fit, and then he even pulled the line, do you know who I am? And that pretty much set her off, because he was basically trying to pull the do you know who I am trick. And she basically flat out told him, no, I don't know who you are, and it doesn't matter who you are, you're gonna go in the line with everybody else. And I guess he ended up pitching a fit and kicking the trash can, and then he left. And it turns out when he left, he was leaving in a Porsche. So he was one of those guys who thinks that they're above the law because they have money, and they thinks they're better than everybody else because they have money. So we're all very proud of her for standing up to the guy like that. For all we know, he could have been the landlord who happens to, I believe, live in the town that we live in, or the store is in. So for all we know, that's, oh, a tree down. For all we know, that's who it was. And he threatened to get her in trouble if he didn't let her in and all that, but she still didn't let him in. So we were joking about that all day long. But anyway, all right, I'm keeping it short because, well, I'm almost home, and number two, there really wasn't a whole lot going on today. It was pretty slow. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video, And we'll see you either later in this video if I turn the camera back on again, or we'll see you in the next one.
Walk while it's wet.
We're gonna keep this relatively short
Because
it's raining.
it's raining.
And there's a line of storms coming our way. I got a different light though.
You got a lantern.
You got a lantern.
Look at you.
This is coronavirus vlog.
Oh, you're numbering them off the top of your head?
No,
No, don't do that.
this is coronavirus vlog Easter edition.
Oh yeah.
Because it is Easter Sunday today. It's a balmy, what, 60 degrees out? So naturally I'm in
Yep.
t-shirt and shorts.
Little rainy.
A little rainy,
Little wet.
a little wet.
Just a little drizzled up.
Okay, before we get going and before we get too close, you want to know why this thing keeps dragging out the way it is with social distancing? That's why.
Staying home.
That's why
Oh.
we're having gatherings. Those people only have 1 or 2 cars at the most, and there's a whole house full of cars. That is why. Because people think the rules don't apply to them.
There were so many cars on the highway on my way home from work.
Yep, we're gonna see a spike in 3 to 4 weeks from now.
Oh, not even that. I'll start getting sick.
Well, it takes a couple of weeks to develop symptoms, and then a couple of weeks more to get it bad enough to hospitalize. Well, we're having a big Easter party, and some parts of the country, they're having full church congregations today.
Why? To clarify, we're not having a big Easter.
I get that a lot of people, family is everything, and big families love to get together. But in order to beat this thing, people need to stay only with their immediate family and stop having big family gatherings.
Yeah.
That back there is an example of a family gathering that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah. Like, I knew it as soon as I was like driving home from work. I-40 was the busiest it's been in probably a few weeks.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, oh, these people are going to Easter parties.
Yep.
God damn it.
Yep.
There's going to be a spike in cases
Yep.
because people couldn't stay home during a holiday.
Exactly. Our store was very busy today. Busier than it normally is normally on Easter. We're very slow because it's Easter Sunday and people do get together
Yeah.
on Easter. But there are some people that are obeying the rules and treating today like any other day. But with
Basically what we did too. I mean,
with that, there's a lot of people that are still having parties.
yeah. Oh, you want to get the stick?
Yeah.
The big stick.
We got a tree down there. So yeah, I got in the car, turned on the car, and the first thing I hear is, as I got it on the news channel, first thing I hear is big tornado down in Mississippi or Alabama. A huge tornado. They were talking an EF4 or EF5 tornado on the ground at that moment, which are very, very powerful. They said winds were estimated over 200 miles an hour. So hopefully everybody makes it through that one okay.
Yeah. The footage doesn't look great from what we've seen on the...
Yeah, I turned on the Weather
the
Channel when
Weather
I got
Channel.
home just to see when we can expect it, because we are expecting that stuff to come up through here, and it looks like it's going to hit us during the overnight hours, which
Yeah.
is, oh, a bat.
Oh,
See that bat?
wow. Look at him go.
2 bats.
Hi.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm getting bugs.
Yep.
They're just chilling. They vibing.
They do what they do. Some people would be freaking out. Oh my God, the bat's gonna get in my
they're
hair.
flying puppies.
Yeah. They're gonna get in my hair.
No, they mean no harm.
That's what caused this whole thing. That's what they're saying.
Bats are cute.
Huh?
Bats are adorable.
Yeah, just don't play with them.
Yeah.
Don't touch them if you don't have to. So, interesting story from my work.
Yeah.
Of course, we're doing the, you know how we're doing the limit, well, the state is mandated, actually doesn't start till tomorrow, but we're doing it already.
Yeah.
Mandated that whatever your fire code occupancy limit is in your building, 20% of that number is the new limit going forward.
Yeah.
For the foreseeable future. And that's for all businesses that decide to remain open have to abide by that 20% rule. 20% of your fire code occupancy is what it is. For our building, that number is 118. So if more than 118 people show up at the same time to go in, we have to stop them at the door, and they have to wait until people come out before they can go in.
Yeah. Our limit is about 30.
That's pretty low.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really low.
We have a small store, I've been telling you.
But you can't be that busy because all your hot bars and stuff are
Yeah,
shut
that's
down.
the thing.
That's what your store is known for.
Half of the store is like
Yeah.
hot bar and services, and that doesn't exist. So
All that's been shut down for weeks now.
we only have like 5 or 6 aisles. We only have one frozen aisle.
Yep.
And the other half of the store is produce and our cheese counter.
Right.
So we don't have a lot of product to begin with.
So anyway,
Yeah,
back to my
continue.
story. So yesterday, one of the associates that works in my department was assigned to man the door and count heads, because everybody, most of the frontline workers in particular, are doing their time up front, spending a few hours of their shift each day, and they're pulling them from all over the store, not just front end people. They're employing deli clerks and dairy and meat, and everybody's getting a chance to do it, pretty much except for managers. Managers were not doing it. So so she's up there, she gets this guy come up and he tries to cut the line. They had a line of about, I don't know, 20-25 people at the time. He tries to cut the line, and she stops him at the door and says, "Sir, you need to get in line. These people are waiting to get in. You need to wait until enough people come out, and then you can go in."
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, I just need to get 1 or 2 items," or I think he said he needed to go to the pharmacy and just get something at the pharmacy.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be long.
She's
like,
running.
she says, "No, this rule is in place for a reason." So she refused to let him in. Then he pulls the ultimate douchebag line. "Do you know who I am?" He actually said that.
And did you know who he was?
Nobody knew who he was because she didn't know who he was. She actually said, "No, I don't know who you are." And she said she told him, "It doesn't matter. You have to get in line with everybody else."
That's great.
And then he pitched a fit, and he says, "You're going to hear about this next week."
Oh my God.
So basically threatening that he was going to call somebody higher up in the company and complain.
Yeah.
So,
But it's like
so she
company-wide policy.
So she tells us this story, and everybody from our store manager hasn't been working over the weekend. He has the weekend off, but
Oh, bug just flew in my face.
but anyway, everybody in the store, including department heads and assistant store managers and everyone, has been congratulating her for standing up to this guy. So anyway, this guy pitches a fit. She won't let him in, so he gets all frustrated. Apparently, she said he kicked the trash can that's outside the door in frustration.
Wow.
And he ended up leaving the store. So she happens to notice that when he pulls out, he's driving a Porsche. Or Porsche, sorry, Porsche. So yeah, douchebag of the day goes to that guy for being the guy who thinks he's more important than everybody else, and that he can skirt the rules because he's got money.
Yeah.
unfortunately, the world is full of douchebags like that.
And of course, like, as employees, we get dirty looks all the time for skipping those lines.
Yep.
Like, we don't wear uniforms at our store. It's just sort of like an apron and maybe a hat with our company logo on it. And so I'm usually walking into the store without my quote-unquote uniform on. And the amount of times I get dirty looks from customers when I just like skirt on by and the person manning the door says nothing about it.
Yeah, the first day we did this, that was the hardest one that they've had so far.
Oh, yeah,
they even had
they
customers.
have to tell everybody who comes up.
Right. Well, they had customers who saw our employees, and our employees wear uniforms. It's very clear when we walk up to the door that we're there to work. We're not there to shop.
Yeah.
And they had actually a couple of customers who.
Oh, it's a rim.
Yep. Toyota hubcap fell off. We've actually had customers who walk in. Don't they have to wait too? No, they don't have to wait.
They're not included in the head count.
They're not included in the head count, or it is included, but it's factored in already.
Yeah, we don't
Our number, if it included employees, the number would be like 140 instead of 118.
Yeah. When I say our limit
for all
is
the employees,
30 people,
right?
it's 30 customers are
Right.
the store.
They automatically assume there's an X number of associates in the store at any given time, particularly during the day when it's busiest. So that is already included as part of the count. 118 is the number for customers. So employees and vendors come in wearing street clothes.
Yeah.
So they get side eye from customers when vendors come in, you know, like the wine guy and the chip guy and the beer guy and, you know, the bread guy. They come in plain clothes. Some of them actually don't bring their own stock with them. Some of the vendors do. They have trucks of their own and they bring it themselves. But the soda and the beer, the heavy stuff, that comes on a big truck. Truck driver brings it in the back door and they just leave it in the back room, and then they have a crew of stalkers that go around, and not stalkers as in like the creepy kind, but
like,
you know, shelf stalkers.
Shelves.
Right. And they come around to actually stock the shelves.
Okay.
But they come in either a regular car or a company car or their own car to do that. But they're wearing plain clothes.
Yeah.
So they're getting the side eye from people. So yeah, it has been a little bit rough in the early days of this whole.
Getting used to it.
Yeah. Because for a lot of people, this is the first time they've come to the store and have had to wait in line to get in the building. So
she is always fascinated in trying to go up that hill.
that's where she saw the deer last time. So yeah, so that was my funny story of the day.
But there she goes.
But apparently today they didn't have that many lines at the front because we weren't quite busy enough. They said only a couple of times throughout the day. I've yet to check my dash cam footage. I parked in such a way that I was able to capture the line in front of the store. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I parked the car so that the line, if it formed, would appear on my dash cam.
We almost always have the line. One of these days I should have you set up a dash cam in my car to do a time lapse.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's ever like...
Well, only the dash cam that we have. Mom's car does have it.
I haven't been driving her car.
Yeah. There's nothing there to pick up. But yeah, I was gonna say I saw it come out. It's all liquid.
Yeah, she didn't do it.
Yeah.
I just had to make sure that car wasn't gonna pitch a fit.
So yeah. But yeah, if you take Mom's car and you wanna get, you gotta park it relatively close to the door, probably closer than you're allowed to.
Oh, I can probably get away with it.
Yeah. Because it's a wide angle lens, so in order to capture the line, you've got to probably park within 50 feet of the door.
Oh, yeah, I can probably do that.
Oh, we got one of the town police stopped at the entrance of the park. He's probably kicking kicking people out.
Oh, last time we were here, there were those people who were exercising.
Well, it was
that
just a
park.
couple, a young couple that was, yeah, the one person, one of them was doing sit-ups and the other one was doing some other sort of aerobic activity. They were just using the park to work out.
Yeah. I'm still not supposed to be there.
I don't see anything wrong with that. No, they actually said the parks are open. You just can't use any of the equipment. You can't use the playground equipment. And the bathrooms are shut.
Why are you doing this, dog?
So I guess we'll see when we get there what it is. Right now it's just cloudy, it's not raining, breezy. We might have been locking the gate or checking the gate to make sure it's locked. Or there was somebody in there and they're kicking him out. Or did he actually pull somebody over? Oh, there's someone parked there. Anyway, I guess we'll find out when we get there. Yeah, looks like they're kicking him out. You can't be in here. There's somebody backing out and now the police is following them out. So, anything new happen at your store?
Actually, yeah, I checked my email today. I haven't checked it in a few days, so I got a couple of emails. But there's a couple of new things that are going on. Starting tomorrow, it's now mandatory for employees to wear
Face mask?
face masks. Yeah, face masks and gloves, including all of our delivery drivers. Our delivery drivers now have to take temperature checks as they're coming into the door too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, the delivery drivers is a potential vehicle to spread it because they're
Yes.
going from store to store.
And
They could
they're
literally,
delivering it directly to customers. So
they could
they're
literally,
interacting with people.
oh, I thought you were talking about your truck drivers.
No, our home
'Cause-
shop delivered.
Because if the warehouse gets infected and the and the driver is infected,
Yeah,
the
all
truck
of our
driver,
drivers get temperature checks before entering the building too. But now our
you're talking home delivery.
Yeah, our home delivery
Oh, okay.
drivers now have to get their temperature checked before entering the store.
Oh, I see.
Which for them would probably be multiple times a day because we see the same people a lot.
Right. Yeah.
Another thing.
Well, speaking of masks, while you're on that
Oh
subject,
yeah, talk about masks.
we're now able to get them at our store,
Yeah.
but it's not mandatory yet. And there's really, I've been thinking about it, whether or not I want to wear one. I've decided that until they make it mandatory, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna continue doing what I've been doing, trying to keep away from people.
Yeah.
And washing my hands 1,000 times an hour. And there's one big reason behind that. I personally feel, after looking on the news, that places like New York, Chicago, we're seeing it, New Orleans,
Yeah, they deserve it.
the
more.
hospitals in the very red hot areas that are really battling this thing, they're all complaining they don't have enough PPE. Masks are a big problem, gowns, all that stuff. They're having to reuse that stuff over and over.
Even cloth masks.
And as far as I'm concerned, until they have what they need, until they have enough for what they need, I'm not going to contribute to the shortage by using a mask myself. That's just my personal choice. That's what I've decided that I'm going to do, that until they have enough, I'm not going to wear one.
Well,
So it's kind of a silent support for the people that really need those things. They need them way worse than we
Yeah.
do.
well, the customers at my store are very particular. They're a special sort of people.
Yeah.
And I've actually had coworkers who have been berated by customers for not wearing
For not
masks.
wearing one?
2 of them have gotten chewed out by customers, and they even went to the front desk to complain about them not wearing masks. I wear one because
Well, you have to.
now it's mandatory.
Yeah.
But I've been wearing one for about a week now, and that was just more to keep customers from complaining about me.
Right.
Because I think probably 80% of customers are coming in now with masks on.
Yeah, most of the customers that we have are also coming in with masks. They're coming in with anything they have.
Yeah.
Most of them aren't wearing.
Yeah, I say masks, but they're wearing handkerchiefs and looking
Yeah.
like a bank robber.
Most of them aren't wearing the disposable kind. I'm seeing everything from respirators that contractors use to dust masks contractors use to homemade masks that people have made.
I've seen a couple of gas masks.
I haven't seen any of those.
I see them.
And I actually have a respirator, the ones that have the 2 filters, one here, one here.
You do?
I actually have one of those in the shed, yeah.
Does it work?
Yeah. I probably need to buy filters for it because it is old.
Yeah.
I bought it when we were spray painting. Is that cop following that one car, that same car?
That's that same cop.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know if it's that same car.
It looked like it.
Oh.
He's chasing him out of the neighborhood, basically.
Oh, they must have like dropped someone off down the road, and
Yeah.
the cop is making sure that they head home.
Right. So anyway, yeah, we see all kinds of stuff coming in.
Yeah.
In customers, and most customers are wearing them. Not everybody, but I don't know. I just personally feel I'm not going to go out of my way to get a cloth one.
Yeah.
And as far as disposable ones, I'm just not going to wear it until I have to, until they make me. It's just my personal choice.
And while we're on the subject of masks, they've also...
I feel like I can take that risk because I don't have any, other than being a little bit overweight, I don't have any of the underlying health conditions that would make me super vulnerable. So
while we're on the subject of masks, my work is also going to provide employees with face shields, like full-on face shields, for anyone that wants them. Haven't decided if I'm going to get that yet. That seems...
It's a little extreme.
A little extra. But
seems a little extreme.
They're able to get enough for
if you were a
the
cashier
employees in the store.
If you were a cashier,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be a bad idea because you're really close
Meeting
contact to
a lot of customers.
I mean, you're definitely within 6 feet of them.
But basically, they have enough for all the employees in the store. They would have us like sign a sheet saying that we got one, and it would be our responsibility to clean it and sanitize it every night, and it would basically become our property. They're just
But they don't want to. They don't want you to issue you one every day that you work.
No,
because they're not. They're not cheap, right? Makes sense.
Yeah. Have you guys been doing temperature checks? I don't.
Nope.
Nope. Still nope.
Not at all.
Nope. Are you guys planning to?
No, I haven't heard. Governor has backed off on that one. He was talking about recommending all businesses do temperature checks early on.
Then everybody would have to get a thermometer.
Yeah. Well, they probably realized that if every business out there went out to get one of those wireless point at your forehead type laser thermometers, which are about $100 a piece. Yeah, there's not enough of them available. I looked briefly online to see if I could get one for us.
Expensive.
Well, not only that, they're very difficult to find. They're out of stock just about everywhere you look. So I think they dropped that one. And it's not a foolproof way of determining.
Like the first day that I had my temperature check, they clocked me at 101, which was a little strange because my body's usually around like 96, 97. So if I'm clocking 101, I'm probably like bedridden and miserable. So it was...
Do they do more than one reading?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She asked me if I was feeling okay, and I'm like, yeah, I don't feel anything, I'm fine. And she checked me like 3 or 4 more times, and then it eventually got down to like 97, which is still not right for me.
Yeah.
It was like 97 or 98.
Well, Mom runs a little cool.
Yeah.
She says her normal temperature's in the 97s.
Yeah. It's been fine now, though. It was just that first day. It was running a little hot. They had to recalibrate it or something. But yeah, that's still continuing on.
Where you going?
Email that I got today, they mentioned that in the coming weeks they're going to install thermal cameras at our front doors.
Those aren't cheap.
No, no, they're not. They're going to install thermal cameras at our front doors to get rid of the temperature check. Oh. I thought you could step over it.
Well, I was trying to, but I couldn't time it right.
Yeah, they're going to be installing thermal cameras at our front door so that they can monitor employees' temperatures and eventually get rid of that temperature check. Because right now it's one person's job to sit at that table for a couple of hours, and they're just being paid to sit there and hope that somebody comes up to ask for their temperature. So I guess it's a wash.
Yeah. Spend $1,000 for a temperature monitoring camera.
It's also a way for us to monitor customers' temperatures too, I guess.
Yeah.
Because that's another problem, is we're not temperature checking customers that come in, and yet we live in a county that has a lot of
This guy just came through. Domino's, or the Pizza Hut guy.
A lot of Pizza Hut tonight.
Yeah. It's the second time we've seen him come into this neighborhood.
So I guess I'm excited for a way to make sure that customers are following the same rules that we have to.
Yeah. And wind is picking up. We won't want to go the long way around. Oh, fat kid breathing. Going up a hill. I know you can't tell with the camera, but we're walking up a hill. After walking all day, moving furniture all day, because we're emptying our floor.
Remodeling right now.
Yeah, our store's in the middle of a remodel, and they're doing the floor in the department tonight. They're putting a new epoxy floor down.
Oh, nice.
So they need the entire department to be completely empty. So all the slicers, all the ovens, the equipment, all had to be disconnected and removed from the department before we left tonight.
We're supposed to get a remodel in June too. I don't know if that's going to happen. So.
I've seen the floor. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
They already did the meat department.
From what I've heard, it sounds like they're expanding our floral department. Like, we used to have a juice bar in produce, but we stopped that probably around December. We stopped making juices and smoothies and all of that.
Why'd they do that?
What?
Stop that. Was it not selling enough?
It was sort of a high waste thing, because you had to like make them one by one, and a lot of times you would end up with like leftover product that would end up being like thrown away, or the employees would like save for themselves to drink on the job.
So a lot of waste.
Yeah, it was a high waste sort of issue. And juices, oh my god, juices.
People are fussy about it.
Yeah, people are fussy about it. And then they come in asking for what should be a really expensive juice
for a really cheap price.
Yeah, because our juices used to be like a flat price.
They want all these exotic fruits and vegetables, and want
yeah.
avocado in there, but don't charge me for the avocado.
No, we had this one lady who used to come in all the time who would ask for a couple of like 16-ounce bottles of celery juice. Do you know how many celeries it takes
to make juice?
To make 16 ounces of celery juice.
Yeah, it's not a very.
It's a lot.
There's not a lot of liquid in celery.
And those are things that we're pulling off the floor to make. So, it was just a high waste.
She was getting her money's worth.
Yeah, it was just a high waste thing that they.
Because you're going through six bundles of celery to make 16 ounces of juice.
It was probably more like 2 or 3, but still, that's 2 or 3 that we can't sell.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
So we just got rid of it, and now our sounds.
I
like
bet
our
she was
floral
unhappy.
department is
bet
moving.
she was unhappy when that
Oh,
happened.
yeah. Yeah, she came in for weeks asking if we were still doing juices.
Oh. You still doing juices?
Yeah.
No, buy your own celery, make your own juice.
Every once in a while, we still get somebody who asks if we do them.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think our department or our store is going to be going into that. But we are going to have an event center.
Events?
Yeah, that's what they call it. What it basically means is we're going to have the premium dinners.
Oh.
I guess there's a prime rib dinner that you can get that's really
Oh, we have some of
inexpensive.
those, yeah.
but it's a hot prime rib dinner with all the fixings that go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have those too.
And it's like, I don't know what the price is, but $19.99 you get a prime rib and a couple of sides and all kinds of
Ours
stuff.
isn't that cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, we might still be going through with the renovation. We have a Wegmans opening up down the road.
Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna need that
So
to compete.
we need a little Botox in our,
You, yeah,
in our company.
your company's gonna drop sales
Yeah.
to Wegmans for sure.
Yeah.
Because people that know what Wegmans is about
Yeah.
know that they are top-notch, premium,
yeah.
premium level grocery store. It's
Yeah.
basically a restaurant inside of a grocery
So,
store.
yeah, the one we went to in Cary was super nice.
Like they don't just have a salad bar.
No, they have like
If you don't want
sushi bar,
to, if you don't want
sandwich
to,
bar, wrap
well,
salad.
I'm just saying if you want a salad, you don't just have to go to the salad bar to get a salad.
Yeah.
You can go to a counter. You can go to the salad bar if you want to make your own salad,
You can go to a salad counter and
Well, you
have
can go
someone
to
make
salad.
salad for you.
and you can, yeah, you can have someone make the salad for you. That way you don't have to touch the icky tongs.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of excited for a Wegmans to open up. That sounds like a nice dinner option on the way home.
A very expensive dinner option.
Yeah,
we
so-
saw the prices.
But it's nice to have ready-made meals,
Yeah,
so I don't have to cook.
and that's what it's all about. And that's
Yeah.
where this world is coming to. This country is coming to. Everything ready-made that they don't have to cook.
Oh, it's so nice.
Grocery stores are spending more and more of their
Yeah.
investment dollars into developing programs like that
Yeah.
and dedicating the floor space to it. When our remodel is done, all the expansion that is going on in our store, because our store is actually expanding, not just remodeling,
Yeah.
all the expansion is into services.
Yeah. I mean,
Our deli is getting way bigger. Our Starbucks is doubling its size.
we have
Most of the expansion is actually in our department, in the deli and bakery, because produce is staying roughly about the same.
yeah.
Meat
purpose doesn't change.
meat is getting a little bit bigger. They
They're
got
getting-
a bigger seafood case and a bigger
Yeah.
meat case, and now they're doing
Special
aged
meats and
aged
yeah.
beef. They're doing 14-day aged, which I'm excited to try.
yeah.
I've never had a aged steak
Old
before.
beef.
Right. They got this case that they basically hang the whole loin right in there for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they got one that's almost ready, so I'm going to try to get a steak off of that.
Yeah.
We'll have a steak night this week. We'll get one that's aged
And then one that's
and then a regular one of the same cut, so we
Yeah.
can taste the difference. We'll do one of those taste tests to see if aged is really worth it.
Well, at our store we have like meal kits, but they're not like you have things ready. They're like Hello Fresh meal kits where you have to cook it yourself, but
Yeah.
they're selling them for like $20-$30.
We have Wagyu beef now. So we have a lot of, we didn't have that before because they already did the case expansion in the meat department. So they've already got their seafood case. Their new one is fantastic looking. They got all kinds of fish that they didn't have before.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything's on about expanding your fresh selections.
Yeah.
And they're
People want food fresh. They want it.
yeah. Oh, we got a lot of customers
Ready-made.
that come in every day to shop because they want the freshest possible. So they come in. They must have a lot more time than I do, but they
Yeah.
come in every day and shop just for groceries for that one meal that night, and that's it.
Yeah. The most frequent question I get is when certain products came in.
Yeah.
Even if it looks good, if I say that it
If you say
came
anything
in a couple
other
of
than-
days ago,
right.
anything other than today,
Yeah.
they'll walk
They
past.
don't want it. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it
When
looks
when
still
was
looks
this bread
good.
baked? My answer is usually today.
Yeah. last
Whether it
night.
was or not,
Yeah.
today, because I know why. It's terrible that we got to be that way, because we would have extremely high waste if we were completely
Yeah.
honest with them. So there's a little secret into the grocery business. If you ask the grocery clerks, when was this made,
they'll say today, but usually
they're more
there'll
than
be
likely to say today.
But with
But I
like
can assure
bread
you
and
they're not
stuff.
selling you bad stuff,
No.
because it's still well within its shelf life, well within date. If it's out on the sales floor,
Yeah.
they're just playing a little mind game with you that you got to get rid of that product.
Yeah.
So
And if it's packed in the store, it'll have a date that says when it was packed.
right, that's
And
true.
they don't mess with that because it's illegal.
No, that is yeah. There's certain rules that we cannot
Yeah.
break. But the general one of when was this made? Today. If we can say that, we will say that. So, all right, well, we are already back home.
We're home.
So it looks like we got some stores rolling in. So
Yeah,
we're gonna go ahead and end it. And well, I guess we'll maybe take her for a walk tomorrow night after work, because I don't work Tuesdays. So all right, let's end it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
See you in the next one.
Night.